should just wiggle out. There we go. 1 inch crappy sea valve. So April the 4th, it's Easter bank holiday Monday, and we've got snow, sleety snow. And what I'm doing down here is out of not just obsession, but more desperation, I think. So I came down here on Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, it was Saturday. Lovely day, got quite a bit done. As you'd see, I changed the valves, or was going to change the valves out, remove the skin fittings, use the grinder to remove them from the hull. Also ground out the, there were some stress cracks on the rudder that was picked up during the survey, and I'm pretty glad that he found those, because when I ground out the area, it was actually quite a large size. A thin spot on the rudder which had started to crack, so in 2 places. So I ground those out, and I've sort of started filling them with epoxy resin, 2-part West Systems resin. Quite a bit of water in the rudder, as is usually the case. There were probably about 1/3 of the way up inside filled with I think obviously seawater. So I let that drain out, just ground out a slice at the bottom, and then let that drain out through the bottom, and that will be all filled back up again. So yeah, there was that. But what I did have when removing the Seacocks was the old ones had a small sort of positioning tab, or a small sort of anti-twist tab that was actually a section of the actual skin fitting that was embedded into the hull. So that also needed to be filled up with resin before I could put the new Tru-Design skin fittings in. So the situation with them at the minute is that the Sikaflex is holding them in place, and then what you do is you tighten them up around about sort of anything after 24 hours after installation, so it gives you your seal. So, but the issue I had was the flexi hose, which was on there for those old skin fittings, was actually a lot bigger than the 1 inch hose fitting on the Tru-Design valve. So I've had to order some new bits and pieces. Not only have I got to order new hose, I also had to change. I'm also going to have to change the cockpit fittings, because obviously they are also of a bigger size. So still a bit of chandlery shopping, obviously all online, because we're still technically in lockdown. So there's 2 of these, 2 new ones of these. There's 25mm inside diameter, or that's the 25mm cockpit connector, and then obviously the hose is rated 1 inch, but that is, I think it's 31mm outside, so 25mm inside diameter. So if you order in the 1 inch Tru-Design valve, you're also going to need to make sure that your cockpit connectors are also the 25mm connector or the 1-inch connectors. So yeah, if you order the actual skin fit, or the 1-inch plastic one, and that will give you your 25mm hose connector. Got it? Good. I've also, as part of the survey, or what was picked up in the survey, also had to take back some of the rusty areas of the anchor. There was probably about a foot of rusty anchor chain before the anchor itself. So I've ordered a brand spanking new stainless swivel fitting for that, so that is going to go on nicely, and actually quite a good upgrade from what I had, which was just 2 shackles kind of sort of fitted together, which wasn't really great. So yeah, today I'm gonna try and get all of this done, and some anti-foul on. The launch date for Katrina is next week, and at the minute I am on the verge of delaying that, because I don't know whether I can get everything done. I'd like to get the sails on here, however it's going to be close. I think I'll know by end of play this week whether that's going to go ahead or not. So as you can see, there the skin fittings in, and that Sikaflex has done its thing. I haven't tightened anything up yet. They are just held in by the Sikaflex. What I do have to do is cut this liner slightly wider, so I can position my support plates, my washers, up against the hull, and then once they're in position, I'll Sikaflex these to the hull, and then the little fixing nut will go on top of that, and then we're ready to fit the actual valve. So these also need to come out, because this hose is being replaced. So that is my next job. I don't know how easy that's going to be. Probably not, if the law of sod prevails. So I've just, oh, where are we? Just managed to clear the nut on the cockpit drain. I couldn't shift it with anything, so I used a DeWalt multi-tool, serrated edge for cutting metal. And what I've done, I've just cut it in half like that, and let's pop that off nicely. We can now take that out through the top, and we'll get the new one in. Well, that was extremely painful, but there they are. These are now both removed. As you can see, they can go in there very nicely. Just got to clean up the other one, and then let's stick that one in. Let's just cut out the liner for the washer install, and that's gone on quite well. The curve of the hull's not too severe, so I'm not gonna have to make any major changes to the washer in terms of its shape to match the hull, but that will all be embedded with silicone now. Yeah, and then the nut will go on top. Just got to do that one now. Okay, so there we have it. That's everything installed. Have to tighten them up a little bit more, just at the fittings there, but they are all in. Likewise, the cockpit glands are also there now. So yeah, probably one of the most awkward jobs I've had to do on this boat. Mainly because they are old fittings and they were just filled up with so much gunk that everything involved cutting out or grinding. So yeah, if you're planning on doing this job, hopefully this gives some insight as to what is required, and yeah, all the best if you do have a go at it yourself. Obviously most boatyards will do this job for you, but a couple of tools obviously I've used here is the DeWalt multi-tool with the serrated tool piece, so I could cut through the for sort of nuts and stuff on the through deck fittings, the through cockpit fitting, and obviously a grinding blade for doing the outside of the sea valves. So sorry, skin fittings. So yeah, not too much involved, just a few swear words and thrown in as well. But yeah, hopefully they don't leak. As the next thing, I've put Sikaflex round the inside of the washer as well, so that will just provide a little bit more sort of stability for that, so it doesn't shift around. And then obviously the outside of the fitting is obviously all Sikaflex up as well. So